30-year-old Jose Luis Rivera is hungry for a chance at a title, and hungry for an opportunity to avenge the only loss of his professional career. That came in 1994 in an 8-round decision to Rocky Gannon. Here is Jose Luis Rivera. Rivera, 30 years of age. You know, he fought Gannon back in 1994 and lost. However, prior to that fight, Rivera had some problems. He lets us know about them.
But at the time, I just came back from my first wedding anniversary, honeymoon, vacation. I was down in San Juan, Puerto Rico for 14 days prior to that. No training. The only thing I did was ran. And I didn't have no training, no sparring, nothing. A week before I left to go on, a week before the fight was supposed to take place, they had moved the date on me. They moved it up 2 weeks. And me and my wife, we had all of our hotel paid, our transportation arrangements already made. So, again, it should have been management maybe to pull me out of that fight. Like I said, I'm just a boxer now. I was more enthusiastic as it's going to be on TV. I was more concerned about that.
And it all culminated in a less than perfect performance. But this time, Jose says it will be very different.
Basically, I fought his fight. Whatever he did, I didn't, I just went along with what he was doing. But now it's going to be totally different. It's going to be now I'm going to do what I have to do, and that's to box.
Fight him.
Rivera from Cleveland, Ohio, 14-1, 11 knockouts, and one no contest, and he does have some family here. His wife, Jane, is here, and she is here cheering on her husband. There are a lot of Rocky Gannon fans as well, so it's a mixed crowd, but not for Jane.
She's trying desperately to shout them down, but I don't think one person's going to be able to do that. Rocky does have a lot of folks here for him, but of course so does Jose Rivera.
It's scheduled for 12 rounds. It is the IBA Light Heavyweight Championship. For the formal introductions, back to our ring announcer and Mark Bureau.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the 1997 Ohio State Fair in Columbus, Ohio, TKO Productions in association with Budweiser, the undisputed, undefeated king of beers, This Bud's For You presents main event, 12 rounds for the IBA Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. Ring officials assigned by the International Boxing Association, President Cy Younger Dean Chance, World Ratings Chairman Norman Logton. Your ring officials assigned, judges at ringside from Southgate, Michigan, Frank Garza, from Muncie, Indiana, Gary Merritt, and from Dubuque, Iowa, David Hess. Your referee for this event, working his 98th World Championship fight, from Reno, Nevada, the incomparable Mills Lane. Introducing now the principals first in the red corner to my right, wearing the red trunks, white trim. He weighs in at 173 pounds. His professional record reads 14 victories, 1 defeat. He has 11 wins coming by way of knockout. He hails from Cleveland, Ohio. Here is the challenger, Jose Luis Rivera.
Darian.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout is scheduled for 10 rounds, and it's in the light heavyweight division. Our referee is Ron Orrit. Introducing first in the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the red trim. He weighed in at 176.5 pounds. This fella has 15 wins, only 1 loss, with 12 knockouts. From Cleveland, Ohio, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Jose Luis Rivera. And his...
It will be Montel Griffin against Jose Luis Rivera for the IBC World Light Heavyweight Championship. It should be a good fight. The fighters have not made their ring walks yet. We're waiting for them momentarily to make their moves. It'll be Jose Luis Rivera with a record of 18-2, 1 no contest, 14 KOs, taking on the more experienced Montel Griffin with a record of 38-3, 27 KOs. He hails from Chicago, Illinois. When you talk about the fighters, it matches up to be a pretty good fight. What do you think, Bobby, about the competition here?
Well, I think it's a solid fight. I think Griffin's come back off some things where he was a little frustrated and he's got his head set. He said now his body's good, but his mind matches, and he's going to be real dangerous. He may be at his very best right now.
And now we see Jose Luis Rivera, ranked number 10 in the IBC.
Well, he's got a brand new corner, brand new trainer. They said, listen, this guy used to come straight in. We got to give him angles. We got to give him a way to get in without getting hit like he used to. Well, that's very good to do. Let's see if he learned the lesson, and if he did, what effect it will have on Griffin.
Well, let's talk about his style. He likes to work inside. He's a strong, hard-working, physical-type fighter. He likes to work inside and best work to the body. When you talk about his weaknesses, Bobby, he's never been more than 8 rounds in his career, and he's fought kind of sparsely throughout his career.
Well, you know, it's very important to go the rounds in the ring. Sure, if you do it in sparring, it's one thing, but to do it in an actual fight is something else. There's a confidence factor. There's always a worry for a fighter who hasn't gone, and this is a competition. This is a step up.
Against the guy by the name of Jason Robinson. And let's talk a little bit about Robinson. This is a guy who had been on a roll, and then he lost a fight. Now there's always that question of, you lose a fight, how do you recover from that?
Yeah, well, he's got to come back. The fight that he lost was to O'Neal Bell, and it was an important fight for him, and he did score a knockdown in that fight over O'Neal Bell, who was a very good fighter. But he seems to be confident. His record certainly leaves not too much to be desired, Barry, with only 2 losses, one of them to Bell in that last fight. In fact, tonight, if you take a look at it, we're getting 2 fighters who have lost their last fight to O'Neal Bell. But this guy has a lot going for him here in Jason.
Now, Rivera, on the other hand, is a guy that you might say is at that real crossroads. He's lost a few fights in a row.
Right.
He has to get things turned around.
He's dropped 3 in a row, Barry. That last one to O'Neal Bell, in which he was stopped in that fight. However, this is a guy who seems to know he's at those crossroads. He talks a lot about it. The record not that bad, but he's lost 3 in a row. And he's a guy who seems to see that some things happening. He's going, I feel ages might be creeping up on me. I don't want to be an opponent. So he's speaking in those terms. So what I think you might have here tonight is a fighter who's fighting with a little bit of desperation to save his own career.
And that's what makes for a great fight. Let's go back to the champ, Sean O'Grady, right now. Sean, you've been in this situation before. How tough is it? You lose a fight, now you got to come back, and you're in one of those situations. We overwork this phrase in sports, but you're in a must-win situation. Pretty tough.
Barry, we've seen it happen so many times. You lose one fight, and these fighters lose their fights subsequent to that one fight. I think it actually blows their confidence. However, I spoke with Jason Robinson about these fights. He'd won 8 in a row before he suffered his fight and his defeat in his last fight. In that last fight, he says, I think I won the fight. It was close enough that I thought I should have gotten the victory. Also, he says, I've gone back to the gym and I've relied on my martial arts training. He says the mental conditioning helped me to where I'm ready to go back and get those 8, 9 victories again. He wants a victory tonight over Jose Luis Rivera. Back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Sean. With that, let's take a look at the numbers and see how these two match up with one another. One of these guys, of course, running out of time a little bit, Rivera, at 34 years of age, and as Rich said, he's lost his last 3 fights. This is his tomorrow. He's got a little pop with 14 knockouts in his 18 wins. Robinson, a guy who's going to grind you down, 7 knockouts, but he's not really known as a knockout puncher. Just 26 years of age. These two guys looking to step up. With that, let's meet him. We go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the Grand Victoria Casino here in Elgin, Illinois, as we have a big night of action coming your way. Fox Sports Net presents Sunday Night Fights, and it's all brought to you by America Presents and 8 Count Productions. Tonight's action is sanctioned by the Illinois Department of Professional Regulation. Physicians at ringside, Dr. Glenn Bynum and Dr. Toby Barbado. Timekeepers at the bell, also keeping count of the knockdowns, Barney Harrell and Dave Morrow. Our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside, Jerome Jacobko, Ted Gimza, and Crystal Wright, and our referee in charge of the action, Tim Adams. All right, fans, here we go with a cruiserweight special attraction scheduled for 10 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first on my left, he is fighting out of the red corner, entering the ring wearing red, white, and blue trunks, hailing from Cleveland, Cleveland, Ohio. His weight 192 pounds. His hard-hitting record stands at 18 wins, 5 losses, with 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing Jose Luis Rivera.